Most Canadians think they know the basics of retirement planning. Save in your RSP, max out your TFSA, and hope for the best. But there are tax secrets hiding in plain sight that could boost your retirement savings by tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. These aren't loopholes. They're legitimate strategies that most people simply don't know about. Today, I'm sharing 5 shocking tax secrets that can dramatically boost your retirement savings. And I guarantee at least one of these will surprise you. Hey there, I'm David Drummond, founding partner at DLD Financial Group. I've been helping people since 1999 and am a certified financial planner. If you're getting value from this, please hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below. Let me know which of these secrets surprised you the most. Secret number 1, your RSP might be costing you money in retirement. Sounds crazy, right? Your RSP is supposed to save you money, and it does when you're contributing. You get that immediate tax deduction, which feels great. But here's what nobody talks about. If you've been maximizing your RSP for 30 years and you've built up $800,000 or $1 million in there, you might actually be worse off in retirement than if you've been more strategic. Why? Because you must convert your RSP to a RRIF by December 31st of the year you turn 71, and mandatory withdrawals begin the following year at age 72. And those withdrawals increase every year. By 80, you're pulling out over 6% annually. By 90, it's over 11%. And if you've got $1 million in your RRIF, that's $60,000 in forced withdrawals at age 80 on top of CPP, OAS, and any other income. Easily find yourself in a higher tax bracket in retirement than when you were working. Plus, those high withdrawals can trigger OAS clawbacks, costing you even more money. The secret? Stop blindly maximizing your RSP. Once you've hit a certain threshold, maybe $500,000 to $700,000, depending on your situation, shift your focus to TFSA and non-registered accounts. You'll thank yourself when you're 75 and not getting crushed by mandatory RRIF withdrawals. We do a lot of this type of work when we forecast out different net worth scenarios and discuss the fact that if you have too much in your RSP in comparison with other assets that we can put on our graphs, you're going to be in a lot of trouble from a tax standpoint. Secret number 2, the prescribed rate loan strategy. Almost nobody uses. Here's one that sounds complicated, but is actually brilliant, and hardly anyone knows about it. If you're a higher earner and your spouse is in a lower tax bracket, you can lend them money at CRA's prescribed rate to invest. Right now, that rate is actually still quite low historically. What happens is your spouse invests that money, earns returns, and pays tax on those returns at a lower rate of taxation instead of yours. Here's a simple example. You're earning $150,000 a year and you're in a high tax bracket. Your spouse earns $40,000. You lend your spouse $100,000 at the prescribed rate. They invest it and earn $6,000 in investment income. Normally, if you earn that $6,000, you pay tax at your higher rate, which might be $2,400. But because your spouse earned it, they pay tax at their lower rate, which is maybe $1,200. So you just save $1,200 a year. Multiply that over 20 years, and you're looking at $24,000 in tax savings just on that one transaction. And you can do this with larger amounts if you structure it properly. The key is you have to charge the prescribed rate, and your spouse has to pay you the interest by January 30th each year. Miss that deadline, and the whole thing falls apart. But if you do it right, it's a powerful income splitting tool that the CRA fully allows. Secret number 3, you can contribute to your RSP after you retire. Most people think once you retire, your RSP days are over. Not true. As long as you've earned income and RSP contribution room, you can keep contributing until December 31st of the year in which you turn 71. And here's where it gets interesting. If you're doing part-time work, consulting, or contract work in your early retirement years, you're still earning income, which means you're still creating new RSP contribution room. Let's say, for example, that you retire at 62, but you do some consulting work and earn $30,000 a year for a few years. That creates about $5,400 in new RSP contribution room each year. You can contribute that amount, get the tax deduction, and reduce your taxable income in those years. Well, why does this matter? Because if you're living off your TFSA and non-registered accounts early in retirement, you might be in a lower tax bracket than while you were working. But if you're still earning some income, you can use RRSP contributions to bring that income down even further, maybe even low enough to avoid OAS clawbacks or stay in a lower tax bracket entirely. It's a strategy most people miss because they assume RRSP contributions are only for their working years. But if you're strategic about it, you can squeeze out extra tax savings even in retirement. And if you're sitting there thinking, I had no idea I could do this, you're not alone. Most Canadians are missing out on strategies like these simply because nobody's shown them. If you want to make sure you're not leaving money on the table, let's uncover what you're truly missing. Secret number 4, the first-time homebuyers plan isn't just for first-time homebuyers. This one shocks people every time. Most Canadians know about the homebuyers plan, the program that lets you withdraw up to $60,000 from your RRSP tax-free to buy your first home. But here's the secret. You don't have to be a first-time buyer to use it. You just have to be in a position where you have not owned a home in the past 4 years. So if you sold your house 5 years ago and you've been renting, you can use the first home buyers plan again. If you're buying a home for a disabled family member, there's no waiting period at all. And here's where it gets even better for retirement planning. Let's say you're 55, you've been renting, and you're planning to buy a retirement property. You can pull $60,000 from your RRSP tax-free, use it for your down payment, and then you have 15 years to pay it back. If you pay it back over those 15 years, great. You're essentially replenishing your RRSP. If you don't pay it back, it simply gets added to your income gradually over those years. Either way, you've got flexibility. Now, I'm not saying this is right for everyone. If you're close to retirement and you pull money from your RRSP, you might be better off leaving it there. But the point is, this option exists, and it's not just for 25-year-olds buying their first condo. It can be a strategic tool in the right direction. Secret number 5, you can claim childcare expenses even in retirement. This one surprises most everyone, and it's particularly relevant if you're helping raise grandchildren. Most people think childcare expenses are only claimable if you're working, but that's not entirely true. You can also claim them if you're in school, if you're looking for work, or here's the big one, if you're earning business or rental income. So let's say you're 65, you're semi-retired, but you're earning some rental income from a property you own. You're also helping take care of your grandkids a few days a week because your daughter works full-time. You pay for daycare and after-school programs. As long as you meet the criteria, the child lives with you, you're paying for eligible care, and you or your spouse have earned income, you can claim those childcare expenses and reduce your taxable income. It's not a massive deduction for most retirees, but if you're in that situation where you're earning some income and you're helping with grandkids, it's absolutely worth looking into. We've had some clients save $1,000 to $2,000 a year on taxes just from this one credit they didn't know existed. The CRA isn't going to tell you about this. Your accountant might not even mention it unless you specifically ask, but it's there, and if it applies to you, why not use it? So there you have it, 5 shocking tax secrets that can boost your retirement savings. 1, don't blindly max out your RRSP if it's going to create a tax bomb in retirement. It's a big one. 2, use prescribed rate loans to split income with your spouse and save thousands in taxes. 3, keep contributing to your RRSP in early retirement if you've got earned income and contribution room. 4, use the first home buyers plan even if you're not a first home buyer, as long as you meet the criteria. 5, claim childcare expenses if you're helping raise grandkids and you've got earned income. These aren't gimmicks. They aren't aggressive tax strategies that'll get you into trouble. These are legitimate CRA-approved tools that most Canadians simply don't know about. And the one difference between knowing these strategies and not knowing them can be tens of thousands of dollars, even hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime in tax savings. That's money that stays in your family. That's a more comfortable retirement. That's legacy wealth you can pass on. You've worked too hard to leave this money on the table. If you want to make sure you're using every tax advantage available to you and you want a personalized plan built around your specific situation, feel free to book a free retirement strategy call with our team. We'll review your accounts, uncover opportunities you're missing, and show you exactly how to keep more of what you've earned. The link for the appointment is in the description below. Thanks a lot for watching. If this was helpful, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.